we could end up actually getting rid of all estate agents and just having an automatic, a bit like travel agents. So let's throw this one in. Okay, so let us go for Amy first.
I think it's a really good point. I actually really enjoyed that article from Peter Knight because I think it was very clear that you could literally be an estate agent but actually not do very much of the actual estate agency work. I think for me, something being an estate agent, you still need to have certain control over certain things. So, for example, valuation preparation, you still need to have that knowledge and you can't automate that. So with Sprift, obviously, we have all that data and that knowledge there in one place for you. So it saves you going to multiple websites. So it automates it, and your routine, if you like, it automates the routine of not having to visit 10, 15 websites just to prep for one valuation. But it doesn't take away that personal aspect of it, that actually that estate agent still needs to actually do the research.
Hey, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I would endorse the article. Was fabulous. It's one of the best articles I think I've read, because I think it's very insightful, it's very vogue, it's very on point for where we are now. But so if you haven't read the Peter Knight's blog on 4i, then get on and have a read of it. But I think some people have read that and sort of concluded that you're taking estate agency away from estate agents. If you read it properly, you're actually putting estate agency directly back with the estate agents and you're actually allowing estate agents to do what estate agents do best, which is to list, sell, market, strategize, network, and do the things that really makes an estate agent an estate agent, and not even taking away, using modern technologies to allow the estate agent to be an estate agent rather than a PA, an admin person, a marketeer, and all the other things that go with it. So I actually read that as the flip side, and I'm 100% on with it. If you can outsource it and you can get it done better than you can do it, and you can reapportion your time to be with people, other people to do business with, do it. 100%.
I mean, we'll go to Heather in a second, then we'll go to Brian, but do you actually think probably the word automation should be changed to the word outsourcing? So Heather, your point. Then Brian.
No, I definitely agree with Ian. It's not a case of replacing the agent, it's freeing the agent up to do what they do best. But also, it's fascinating hearing you list absolutely everything that an agent is meant to be experts in across that, timeline of events. It's impossible for an agent to be a subject matter expert in every single bit of that journey. And, if you take what we do, because obviously that's the only thing I can talk about, but we have become subject matter experts in prospecting. We have the data from thousands upon thousands of agents over 5 years to know what type of prospecting works, when to write to people, what type of letter, what functionality to merge together to get the best results, what wording works best, what letters work best. For an agent to do that themselves, just for that one piece of that jigsaw, it's just completely infeasible. So yeah, what you're really getting from the automation / outsourcing is the expertise of every single person on this call and every single person who offers this technology, and the experience and the insight that they get from doing it. And basically, it's our entire lives. We do not just give somebody access to our tool and say, go for it. The first thing that happens is we have a strategy call. We understand everything we can about them. We understand their advantages. And then we give them our knowledge in terms of, this is how to best get the most from your prospecting. This is what we think you should write. This is when we think you should send it. And that's another benefit of outsourcing that you just cannot get if an agent was to do all of this themselves.
Brian and then Ben.
I think that article that Peter wrote, I think I heard Peter say afterwards that you can outsource just about every element of the estate agency process with the exception of the market appraisal, which you probably want to retain ownership of, because I think most agents are employed to go out and do market appraisals and to win instructions. Although I'd add to that if an agent sat down and went through what they do and all the various disciplines and skill sets that they've got in-house, they work out what they're best at delivering in their marketplace based on the people they've got in their office. But if they're looking to retain the market appraisal element, they should also be looking to keep ownership of and not outsource or automate too heavily the client journey. So, and I say that in part because of I've got a buy-to-let or two out there, and one or two of them are being marketed at the moment. I get more calls from competitors saying we can help you than I do from my own agents who are just don't phone me up and tell me anything. I'm almost tempted to disinstruct one each week after they've won the instruction because they've not called me that week. It'll be Spectre Spectre will be making that good, of course. But It will be that, won't it? I hadn't thought of that. The penny's just dropped. But yes, indeed.
You're welcome.
Well
I think we
done,
should split.
Is it? But I find it a little bit amazing that we are not, you can't not service your clients. You can automate all the other stuff to make sure that you've got time to service your clients and find new business and secure new business, but you do need to make sure that you retain client relationships and do a good job doing it.
Ben?
Yeah, I think that, there's always that horror that, is tech going to suddenly take over. I think even in the portal days originally, people were worried that, what if they let the customer start popping their properties up there? What would that do? And there was a sudden horror back then, I remember. But in reality, there is a massive skill in getting the best price in a timely manner, or whether it's sale or letting. And I think that the more agents can understand that if they can work their data more intelligently and actually get that data joined up, and when I say joined up, the advent of APIs, which is web services talking to each other each way, then really starts allowing all the people on this call and all the other ICG approved members who are delivering some awesomeness to connect up their bits of data. So for example, we're forever the big instruction. The biggest request we get is we need more instructions. And I think all agents still like that. And we're saying, well, great. So let's get someone to pop in their postcode. And the moment they pop in their postcode, you do postcode lookup. Now I've got their full address. They do next. We immediately pull in some data loft information to match up to that postcode. We dynamically pull in their office or an individual, the sales. We then next, and we pull in SPRIF data, and it goes on like that. So it's lovely combinations that ultimately give the agent much more sort of power to their elbow to convert these people and start a conversation where they've actually got all that information at their fingertips.
That does sound like Skynet for a state agency, but I love it. Steve?
Yeah, interesting. I was following this because I used to actually live in California, and it's very much like that over in the States, right? It's realtors, and they're essentially sales and marketing individuals, and that's what their job is. Obviously, they're marketing properties, they're marketing themselves on a daily basis, because you go down the road and you'll see their face on billboards, and that's our kind of model. And if I read correctly, although I'm not an agent, I'm on the supplier side, but Keller Williams seem to be having a lot of success with this model as well. And when you take, for example, you look at let's say Purple Bricks, because obviously everyone knows that brand, that almost seems to me like it's a portal version of realtors, because it's all processed, obviously it's automated driven. You run onto the website, and as a landlord, I want to sell my property, so I put my address on that website, and what happens then is a waterfall or a trigger of processes behind the scenes that say, okay, we need a property description, we need an appraisal, we need some floor plans, we need some photography, we need an EPC, we need to make sure the electrical safety certificate is modern, up to date, and all of the obligations that obviously you would have. And these are not necessarily one company, these are lots of different individuals, lots of different contractors, lots of different companies, all being instructed from that one interaction point back over then. And obviously then the automated processes fall through, and at the end you get a bunch of deliverables, i.e. a listing on Rightmove where the photographer company uploaded the photos, the floor plan company uploaded the floor plan, and it comes together that way. You're still only dealing with one particular person in your local area, but obviously there's process behind the scenes and everything's going on behind the scenes.